Orlando, Joseph, James, Ruben. Some of y'all are looking a little tired. Huh?
Come
We a
on,
little
baby.
tired today?
Bianca, wake up.
Hey,
Come on,
can't be
Justin.
tired to win
Hi,
today.
Audio, let's go.
Hey, good morning, guys. We've got some amazing stuff for you guys today. Our goal is the same goal as it's always been, is to give you a couple things to think about. Really to provoke some new ideas into your brains, to give you something tangible that you can take into your business, into your career, into your life, and dude, make a change. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Who wants a big 2024? Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
I want to be
Okay.
24.
Listen, if you want a big 2024, we're going to give you 6 things, and you can write down 6. I want you to be taking notes, because if you don't write anything down, it is likely that you'll come to these meetings and not leave with, anything. But if you come to these meetings prepared, you're ready to grow, you're ready to learn, you're ready to light that chat up, you're ready to get freaking fired up and crazy. What's your energy look like right now? Are you like, yeah, let's go, let's go? Or are you like, I don't know. Evan, what happens when you have good energy in training?
When you have good energy, you make good decisions. So everybody always asks us, why
Write that shit
why
down.
do you guys have good energy?
Write that shit down.
Listen, guys, energy is a skill, and this isn't part of the 6 things, but mastering your energy, mastering what comes out of your mouth, mastering the ability to go further than other people, mastering the ability to have a good attitude even when you're in the storm and things aren't going the right way, mastering the ability to have a big vision of yourself so you're constantly staying positive because you're thinking about the future you, and you're letting the future you coach you on how your attitude should be.
Yep.
What the future you think about your
slow
attitude
down.
now.
Go back to what you just said.
What would you? I allow the future version of me to coach this version of me. So I think about 3 years from now, that's the mentor of Evan. That's like Evan would say, hey, do you got the good attitude right now? Or are you letting little bullshit get in your mindset and block you from the dream life that you want to go out and get? A lot of people right now, the world is so confused and they're lost. And we're going to get into like 6 reasons that will help you be the best salesperson and leader possible. But it starts with your attitude. It starts with your posture. It starts with your posture of success and winning. What does it look like? When you talk to Ian and I, no matter where you catch us out on, we're going to have this posture, this mindset, this energy and attitude.
It's an offensive posture versus a defensive posture. See, a lot of people, they don't know that they're in a defensive posture state
all the time.
so that
They're
they can't get the relationship that would change your life. They can't get the sale that will
But
change
it's
your
right
life.
here.
But it's all in your offensive posture and your offensive behavior. Dude, listen, everybody says a good defense wins championships. Well, not if they ain't scoring no damn points.
Bullshit.
Not if they're not in an offensive posture making shit happen.
You gotta score some touchdowns.
What do you mean defense wins championships? It adds to it. But listen, if you can't score a touchdown, you can't win a championship. Okay?
I'm trying to score the ball.
I'm trying to score the damn ball.
Your whole damn life. That's all you.
I'm not even trying to play defense. I'm so good at offense.
Well,
how about some of you guys? I don't even care
that's
about
not
defense.
true.
Screw
That's not-
defense.
That's not true.
Let's just play offense all day long.
See the benefit.
I'm just trying to sell, baby. I'm just trying. Me and Cam Hanna are just trying to score.
See, the benefit of having a twin brother is I usually did the dirty work. We played basketball. We were on state championship level.
Sometimes you need that.
And Ian always wanted to shoot the damn ball, and I always had to get the rebounds or punch somebody in the nose because he was talking too much shit. I had to back it up while he talked.
Anybody know a person like that? That just wanted the ball all the damn time and they were really good at scoring. And another guy was a little jealous because he couldn't score, so he had to do all the hard work.
You're right. You're right about that.
I got to raise the trophy, and Evan got to do a lot of that.
Yeah, well, like
the mechanics.
I didn't get any of the sexy stuff that came along with being like the defensive player.
You got the sexy stuff of being my brother and let me carry you for so long.
That's true. It's being Ian's brother is the joy of my life.
That is, man. That is the greatest.
All right, let's get into it.
6 qualities. Listen, you must have these qualities. If you don't possess these qualities,
work on them.
I want you to put like a ranking on the title. So when I tell you the quality, I want you to rank where you think you're at, because this first quality that we're going to start out with could be the most important one in sales: audacity.
Yep.
Listen, audacity, you have to have the audacity to make the call. Joseph, somebody reaches out on your life coaching program and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to tell them. This is going to happen. Oh, what are they going to think? How am I going to handle this call? Snap out of it, bro. You got to have the audacity to reach out and change that person's life. If somebody shows up on the lot, you know what I see some car salesmen do? They judge them and then they run. Oh, he's in a Kia Forte. He probably can't afford the $900. Everybody can afford a $1,000 car payment right now. You know why? Because everybody's got one. And most of us can't even afford it, but you're still paying it. But most people, they don't have the audacity to make the call, to call the prospect, to put the input in so that they could get the output. Put input versus output. What you put into something is what you're going to get out of it. But input, in order to have input, the secret ingredients to that is freaking audacity.
Who in here is single? Raise your hand if you're single. Raise your hands if you're
What
single.
does that got to do with anything?
Well, how all of this has to do with your dating life too.
Okay, some of you guys aren't raising your hands and you're single. We're trying to link you guys together and you're bullshitting us, okay?
See, the fact is,
Okay.
listen,
Don't be playing, okay?
everything that we're going to talk about also transfers.
If you can't have the audacity to raise your hand, you can't have the audacity to get the girl.
Do you have the audacity to make the ask? A lot of you guys you have the best product in the world. In fact, you're one of the best salespeople in the world, but you don't have the audacity right when it comes down to the business time to say, hey, can we sleep together? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good one.
Hey,
Let's
listen,
make this.
Can
Let's
we
make
make
this a
this
dating.
a deal? Can we make this a deal? Look, not, hey, by the way, you know,
I like
you.
ya.
Want to purchase
Would
what
you,
I got?
Would you kind of want
you
to
wanna
have a
do
second
business?
date?
No, man. Hey, listen, I know this product will change your life. Go on ahead and say yes, and let's pass go.
Yeah,
Like,
listen.
come on, man.
Joseph, you're not that handsome of a guy, okay? You're a 7.
You're a
okay?
6.
Everybody look at him. He's a 7.
He's a
His wife's a 12.
Yeah.
I guarantee
His
you,
wife's a
if he
12.
walked up and acted like he was a 7 to her, like, hey,
Like,
I know I'm ugly.
I
but
know I'm a 7.
I think you're hot. She'd have been like, dude, get out of here. You know
no,
what
he
hot
has
chicks
the
wanna see?
audacity.
They want to see you go like this. Oh my God, you're beautiful, by the way. Like, we should go on a date. And they want to see that audacity that you got it, man. Everybody say, I got it.
I got
I
it.
got
I
it.
got this.
I got it. Okay, if you don't got that, I got it in your system. Oftentimes I write things on my hand. Today I wrote, I am him. Everybody say, I am him, or I am her, or I am
Or they,
they, or whatever. However
I
this
am
goes.
microwave.
Okay.
I am microwave.
Okay, but you got to be him. Listen, Travis Marino on the call. He's at 25 cars. He wants to go to 30. The difference of where he's at to where he wants to go is he just has to be him. He just has to say, every single customer that comes across me, no matter who they are, I'm going to have the audacity to take them down the freaking process and make them a deal no matter what. And that audacity keeps you out of your own thoughts because you know that all those deals are going to come to you no matter what.
Here's the test. Do you have the audacity on the days that you don't feel like doing?
That's the biggest key of a
Do you have the audacity on the day where you listen? A lot of you got this happened to Ian and I on every single month. Every single month, it came down to a half a car deal, one
to
car
hit
deal.
that massive
It
bump.
came down to like $2,000 in revenue.
Anybody ever been there?
Anybody ever been away from their
Shit.
bonus? See, it's the test day. You didn't have the audacity to go out and take the customer at 7 p.m. on the lot. You didn't have the audacity to make the calls every single day
Or
because you got tired or whatever the hell it is.
Or you got a little upset at your manager, bullshit feelings. Guys, amateur feelings lead to amateur decisions.
Tell them again.
Okay, and here's how you
No,
guys want
say
to
it
know
again.
amateur feelings lead to amateur decisions, and amateur decisions don't lead you to pro results.
Nope.
So listen to this. Listen, you could be the best in the space, but then 2 or 3 days out of the month, you're spun out. And that's probably not that bad of a thing to you. You're like, shit, man, if I could be on for 25 days, I prayed for that because I'm off for 2 weeks, some of you guys. If you can take those days that are the hardest and learn to have an awareness of them, like, damn, this is a little test day. I'm going to have audacity on this day, and I'm going to make a sale on this hard day. Well, then the easy days are a bonus. The easy days are a bonus. On the challenging days, you must have the highest audacity that anybody's ever seen. From
Anybody ever walk into their business and they're like, I just don't feel like making the call?
Yeah, man,
Dude, make the call. In fact, have the audacity to make the hard call first. Let me explain something to you.
Ooh, go there.
Biggest deal, if you're making a deal, let's just use coaching for example. You got a big customer in your red zone. Your red zones are people that are ready to score. They're in the zone. They just need that extra close, man. They need that you. A lot of people, they try to work their way up to
their
top
bigger
prospects.
clients.
So they work their way up to the big client. They get their asses kicked for like the first 3 or 4 clients, and then they're expecting to feel like it when they want to have the audacity to make the phone call to the big client.
You ain't
gonna feel like it. You ain't gonna feel like it, especially if you're trying to work your boulder up the hill. Make the call first. Have the audacity to come in and say, I don't give a shit how I feel. Give me the phone. I don't have an attachment to the outcome. I don't have an attachment to the outcome. If they buy, great. If they don't, great. Doesn't matter. I'm going to give it all I got. And then what happens is if you make that big call or you got that big car you're going to sell or that big install coming, all of a sudden the next phone calls are a hell of a lot easier. And it's so much more easier to have that audacity when you're actually in the winning state.
And listen to this, guys. If you're like door knocking or whatever you're doing, or you're on the lot, you know, there's going to be those times where you're the problem, and it ain't the customers. It's nobody. It's like you are just selling yourself on a lot of shit that's not real. Not real. I'm gonna explain. We dominated for 8.5 years. There's people who can't be number one for a month. When people are like, how'd you do it for 103 months? 103 months. That's a long damn time. Okay. But after you start doing these things, you have these habits for 3 to 4 months, and that's just how you
Becomes your
operate.
identity.
It becomes an identity, and then it's everybody looks at it like, oh my God, that's amazing. When really you don't know anything different, and it's just become like a muscle that you're using. But a lot of people have not built that audacity muscle, so they can only do things for a very short period of time. You've got to understand that if you really want a big life, you're gonna have to do it for a long period of time, for like a life period of time, not for like, I'm gonna try this for 90 days. No, dude, you're gonna do this every day for the rest of your life. And if you shift your mentality that way, you're gonna start to, get more out of what you're trying to do. You're going to get more of the result that you're trying to get, but you got to stay on it for a long time,
Okay.
and not sell yourself.
Number two. Okay, everybody say audacity.
Audacity, baby.
Okay, let's have the audacity today to go out and get that life that we
Rank it.
to.
Rank it.
Okay,
It's
and
yours.
rank yours right now. Now, the goal is after you leave this call, anytime you don't feel like it, or you're like, you get a little scared about that prospect, you're putting that prospect on a pedestal, something, dude, make the call. Like, just make the call and give them what you got. And every time you're going to learn to get better. Now, number two, when Ian and I came to our first seminar and we met Andy Elliott, let me explain something to you. We were doing very well. I think at that moment, we were probably number one in the country for maybe 65 or 70 months in a row at that point.
Mhm.
Like our goal really at that time was we didn't think that we could actually get better at sales. We thought we were pretty damn good. If you talk to us, we were kind of those guys. We're like, we freaking got this.
Right.
We didn't ever have a eureka moment around anybody that was in our circle because we were the best in our circle. So when we came down and we met Andy pulled us up and he showed us how good he was and how great he was with repetition. I want you to write this word down, repetition. It's the mother of all skill. Andy Elliott doesn't ever have to practice. Well, he practices so much.
Yeah.
He practiced till he couldn't get it wrong. Losers practice till they get it right one time.
Say that again.
Losers practice till they get the word track right, they get the energy right, they get the smile in their eye right one time, they get the fake laugh right one time.
Yep.
They know how to influence maybe one customer one time. See, they just practice it just on a micro level. Andy practiced it so many times that he could influence, persuade, and do objection handling in front of hundreds and thousands of people. When we saw that, and then we locked up at different times when Andy would call on us, just like many of you came up to seminars and we call on you in front of 200 people, and you're like, oh, I don't know it. Well, that's just because you don't know it so well because you only practiced it till you got it right, not till you get it wrong. I could literally say a word track in a car. I could say it in front of 500 people. I could say it getting waterboarded. It doesn't matter. But are you practicing so much that you know your business better than everybody else? There's 2 rules to business, Ian. What are they?
Don't let anybody know your business better than you.
Yep. Don't let anybody know your business better than you.
Yep.
And figure out how to kick your own ass every single day.
Exactly.
Most of you guys right now, the reason why you're not where you want to be is because you haven't put the reps in. If you want big old biceps like Ian and I are working on over here, well, what would you have to get, Amir? What would you have to get, Rosemary? You'd have to get some freaking repetition, Luke Evans, and you'd have to be so relentless in it that every day, John Pollock, you're like, okay, if a customer comes in and they say, I got to think about it, do you know how to handle that so dang good that 80% of the time you can put that person to bed? If you don't, practice it, write it down, rehearse it, drill, practice, rehearse.
Yeah, and I remember when Evan couldn't get a girl, and so this is relatable to some of you guys, like when Joe couldn't either.
Can now. My boy.
Now he can. Yeah, now he can. But listen, he had to present it a lot of times. A lot of times you guys don't even present the numbers or present the pencils enough times, so you're not even really that good at it. Like,
True.
Like Evan, we had to send him to the bar multiple times. We had to show him how to go out there and present it.
Build
And
value.
he failed a
Ask
lot
good
of times.
questions and get good answers.
Guys, he failed so many times at that, and then he became good, and then he got the girl.
I thought I would never get the girl. I mean, I finally got the girl.
I didn't think you
31
would either.
years old.
I didn't think you would either. And I was getting the girls because there's like the good twin and the bad twin. The bad twin, me, I was over here practicing all the time. Everywhere I went, in the gas station, awkward in the gym. You guys ever seen that guy that's hitting on chicks in the gym and they don't want that?
Yeah.
That was me, but I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for me, for my own repetition.
How noble of you.
Yeah, I was
How
doing it.
noble.
I was doing it so I could learn. Okay?
Mark
You know?
Reyes, you like that? I wasn't doing it for them. He like laid that down like it was like
I was
special.
I was practicing my presentation. So listen, I want to give you guys a couple things within that tip to do. Number one, write down the top
I
five
love how
objections.
you lay shit down.
Right-
Sometimes.
right
Like,
down the-
you just believe in what you say.
Totally,
so
bro.
hard.
Hey, that's half the battle is believing in the
Yeah.
shit that you tell yourself.
That's
right.
true. That's true, man.
I believe that shit. man.
That's true.
So-
Come on.
So check this out. Everybody write down right now 5 objections that you typically get. Now, let me explain something on these objections. Everybody's could be a little bit differently. You know, yours could be like, I need to talk to my wife. I don't know what the, what's the cost? I got to send it out for a different whatever or proposal. It could be anything. But if you could get really good at
Just
the
your 5.
5,
Your foundation 5.
you don't need to get good at 50 of them. But if you know the 5 in and out, here's what'll happen. If you practice them like 100 times a day, here's what'll happen. When a customer objects to me, Joseph objects to me and says, hey, I got to think about it. On the car lot, I'm not going to say, of course you need to think about it. I haven't given you enough information not to think about it. What I'm going to do is give you a quick 5-minute proposal of all the facts and figures. That way, when you go home, you truly have something to think about. Would that be fair? I'm not going to say that shit. Okay. I'm going to say, hey, man, I totally understand. Listen, if you went home right now, you probably wouldn't even have all the information that you would need to actually make a decision for you and your wife. I know that you came in with the goal of loving the car, which I can tell you did. Going home, it's going to make a lot of sense to have the numbers. Wouldn't that make the most sense? Yeah. Okay. Come on with me. That's way different than the objection. But in order for me to be good at objections and make my words flow, my mind can't be confused. Customers object to some of you guys, and because you haven't practiced the basic 5 objections, they can tell you're looking for the words to say. So in fact, you invite pressure into the deal because you don't have enough repetition.
True that. Inviting pressure into the deal. Write that down. Some people, you're inviting pressure into the deal because you're not so good at your business
that you make it look fun.
You make it look easy. Okay, so let me explain something that Ian just did with the word track. Doesn't matter what business you're in. If there's one written out, write something down that you know can get somebody to move forward. And this is where you become a student of the game. Find a word track that works. Go over it a bunch of times. And here's how you do a word track. First, you memorize it. You don't customize it.
Losers customize right out the
First,
gate.
you memorize something, so you have something to build on. So you have something to fall back on, right? Once you've memorized it, then you internalize it. Internalizing means like, dude, it doesn't matter what happens, what situation I'm in, I can handle my 5 objections easily. Okay. Once you do that, then you go to customize it. Ian said, hey, listen, of course you need to think about it. I haven't given you enough information not to think about it. What I'd like to do is give you a quick 5-minute proposal. He didn't say it like that. He said, man, look, Ian
Said it with charisma.
you like the freaking car. We just drove it around. Obviously you like it. Look, man, I know you got to think about it. I haven't given you enough information not to think about it, my man. Give me a high five, dude.
Yep.
I love hanging out with you, man.
Yep.
You got a good looking brother. I think I've seen you on the internet before.
He ain't that good.
Hey, no, he's the better looking version of you. I've seen
He's
it.
got less money.
No, he does not. I know for a fact
Yeah,
because I checked your bank.
He's got
account
stinky
before.
breath.
Damn, dude. Okay, I haven't given you enough information not to think about it, bro. Follow me inside. Let me give you a 5-minute.
Everybody say make sales great again.
Make sales great.
But in order to make it great, you have to have that repetition. You have to have that fun. You have to like slow down and understand. Like, look, and this leads us into number 3. But like, all right, everybody, what would it take to lose in your business? If you were losing in your business,
This is good. Listen up. Lean in.
and this brings you to number 3, really. But like, Travis is in the car business, so I'll just use Travis for an example. Travis, you sell 25 cars a month. There's guys on here that would kill to have that, because the average car salesman sells about 8. Okay. So, but Travis, what would it take to lose in your business? What would you have to do to lose?
Bad attitude.
Bad attitude. You wouldn't have to greet customers.
Not personable.
You wouldn't be personable.
Maybe
wouldn't
it
be
smell
dressed.
like cigarettes.
You probably smell like cigarettes, smoke,
coffee.
fucking shit. Like people would
You're
look
not
at you
dressed
like, this
Your
guy's
hair's
not
not clean.
Like that's what you like, right? So like,
So write down what
I
you're
want
saying is
you
write
to
down.
write down things that would make you lose in your industry. Write them down. Like write them down. Travis, what would it look like? And I'm going to show you something to just flip your mind on a couple things. But those things that you would lose in your industry, if you do them the opposite and inner engineer your career to do the opposite of those things, well, then in fact you would win.
Simple.
So
Holy
you would
shit,
win.
that was simple.
So all of you know how to lose. You're really good at losing. Some of you are great at it. Now, all you have to do is do the opposite of losing. Okay, if I'm in solar and I'm knocking doors and the average guy knocks 20 doors and he knocks them with a half attitude, half energy. He doesn't really care. He doesn't really know objections. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm going to do the totally opposite of that. That leads me into number 3, discipline. most people can't stay disciplined to do the things that are set up to win for a long period of time. Here's an example. You might be an alcoholic on here. You might be a drug addict on here. You might be something that affects you from actually truly winning and living at peak state, but you don't want to address it. You don't want to fix it. You could be a person that's just simply scared of making phone calls. But instead of addressing that one thing that you need to put discipline behind and have some increase on, like you need to increase on this level, instead, you're avoiding that one thing altogether, even today, even on this call, even in this conversation. If you fix that one thing and worked on it and then elevated that thing and put more input into it, more discipline into it, well, then you'd see new results. You will never see new results without new higher levels of discipline.
Sure, true that.
You won't. There's no way.
Now, listen, also discipline, guys, listen, think about this for a second. The world, what happens with everybody? I'm going to look, it's about to happen big time in the fitness industry. If you're a fitness coach on here, you can't wait for this because you know what's about to happen.
Yep.
People are going to start and stop and start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And that's what the world does. Everybody on this call, what we're preparing you for is to go through the test. It's to go through the stop phase.
What's that mean, Evan?
Meaning most people, they start something, they're super excited about it. And as the curve goes down,
Feeling
like this,
goes away.
the feeling goes away on the diet. They don't like the chicken and rice anymore. They don't like the
They don't
gym
like
as
making
much
the phone
anymore.
calls because they don't like money.
They don't like making the phone calls, so they're not. Look, our biggest deals, Ian and I's average big deal takes about 400 days to close. On instances, our last very, very big deal took 400 days. Most of you guys, your big deals are going to happen on that second pass, on that third pass, on that fifth or seventh pass. But do you have the discipline to stay hungry, to stay motivated, to stay in the game and be fighting for that freaking dream?
The fortune's in the follow-up, and the average salesperson can't follow up more than 2.5 times in America right now. Two and a half,
I think is a lot.
I think it's a lot.
I think it's 1.5. I think you make one call, you're like, oh, and then you maybe make a second one just to see if you can get lucky, and then you're like on to the next.
Your whole could be, in fact, just your follow-up. Your whole could be, I could have named it. It could have been something way bigger, and we hit on that in personal development. But it could also be just like you're just a shitty at follow-up. So what would I do if I was shitty at follow-up right here? Okay, I would literally draw something on my computer and put follow-up everywhere. I put a follow-up timer on my phone. I put follow-up on my hand. I might even put follow-up on my forehead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tattoo.
Listen, some of you, let's go back to girls. The reason why that you don't get any girls is because you don't follow up and they want to be pursued.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Joseph followed up on her so much to the point that she almost called the police.
She did.
And then she heard him out as she was pressing charges, and she's like, I think
funny.
he's okay.
He's
like,
not bad.
all right, I don't want to press charges. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And he's like, there's something within. And she's like, God, I like this. He just got a kiss out of this deal. Dude, I'm totally hooking you up on this deal. You owe me. You owe me some money on this.
Hey, one of the best things Coach Burt ever told us, Coach Burt's one of our coaches, he said, just say, thank you, I owe you. And that could be if somebody doesn't do you right.
Yep.
You know, you say, thank you, man, I owe you. I think
I owe
you
you
guys
something.
owe us a lot on this because we're showing you how to take your life to the next.
But some of you right now, people are testing you to see how hard you'll follow up. And you are not doing a good job in follow-up. You need to have that discipline that, man, and here, I'm going to give you actually 2 follow-up tips.
And then let me give them something.
Okay. So if I'm following up with you, Orlando, you came in my dealership, you want to buy a car, whatever, like it doesn't matter. I use this in any sales. I'm not following up with you on my product. I'm not. Orlando, you talked about David Goggins in our casual conversation. I put that in my mental cookie jar of something that you said that you liked, that resonated with you and me. Me and you had a good conversation.
How long ago was that?
I knew that. Okay. I know that. I know something about Orlando. Well, instead of following up with Orlando, be like, hey, you want to purchase a car? Hey, thank you for coming in. I might send him a YouTube video of David Goggins 20 years ago that I found that nobody knows about because I went digging for it. I'm going to use my awareness to move Orlando and show him something he's never seen. I might just send him the YouTube video and send him something. Can I like, check this out?
Can I do one for Orlando?
Go for it.
I might say, Orlando, man, I saw you at the Fresno State football game, man. I can tell you're a sponsor in the team. Like you're doing big stuff, man. You're obviously a big Bulldog fan. Like the fact that you took your team there and you paid for people to have tickets and do all this stuff, man, I can tell you're an incredible leader. I just wanted to call you and say it's hard to run a sales team. I know because I'm running one. At the end of the day, man, I wish you the best. If there's ever anything I can do, let me know. But Orlando, keep kicking butt, man.
So you're saying
culture.
You're saying
Have
a little
a good day.
You're saying a little
What can I buy from you?
Yes.
You're saying a little pep talk. He just gave him a little pep talk.
Because I was watching his Facebook.
And it didn't come with anything. But check this out. If I'm in door to door and I'm in solar, right? And I'm knocking doors and I'm in their house and I just had a meeting with them and they have to go talk to their husband. Their husband wasn't there. I couldn't close him. You guys know how it goes. Okay. I see something in their house. This person likes bulldogs. We'll use bulldogs for an example. And I see I got all these little bulldog figurines and stuff. I'm so aware that I will leave that house and go buy them something that's $12 on Etsy, show up there tomorrow and give them a little bulldog figurine and be like, hey man, I want you to add this to your collection. You're amazing. I got to run. Good seeing
But
you.
Ian, that's
And
going to cost money.
I know, dude. Amateurs don't invest in their customers. Pros are spending hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars in their customers. That's how they do it. Okay. Listen, here's a follow-up tip. Somebody's leaving my dealership today. Most of you don't give them shit except a bad attitude and being pissed off. And you're like this. I'm serious. You're like, when they don't buy, you're like, the audacity of you coming into my dealership and not buying shit from me? What is your issue? You guys know those people. Okay. So
I've
what
been
pros do is they have a little in the back
Offboard.
room and they offboard them and they give them a gift. They're like, and it could be a handwritten note. Check this out. Most of you won't do this. I would do this in any industry. I would write a handwritten note in the back. Hey, I'll be right back. I got to get you guys something. This costs me no money except time, effort, and care. And I would give them a handwritten note at the end of it. Maybe it has a gift card for $5. And I'd say time is non-refundable for the fact that you guys spent time with me. I truly appreciate you guys. I love you. Thank you. Give me a hug and go about your shopping journey and have a blast. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you. And I give them the card. You know what they do? They get in their car. They read that a car salesman gave them a card. And I wrote, you're the best parents. I see how you are with these kids. Man, our dad left. My dad left when I was a little kid. I just wish I had a dad like you, Orlando. Damn, you're phenomenal. When I first met you, Orlando, I was like, you got your kids here? Oh my God, dude, I'd kill to have a dad like you. And I was like super jacked about that because it actually meant something to me. And if I tell you that and I offboard you like that and it's the truth, then they're going to know that you're an authentic, real amazing human.
Anybody ever had that happen to them?
Not really. No, you've never had that.
How do you get those cards?
Okay, so
How do you get those cards?
yeah, just and you can get blank cards.
Now listen,
Do whatever.
if none of you have ever had that happen to you, which a vast majority, probably 90% have it, wouldn't it make you look different right now? And isn't the goal to be different? So can everybody maybe circle that one thing and then we all commit to doing something that we know would make a client feel good, that would give us tactical advantage? Can I explain something to you guys? Anybody ever brought a product from First Form? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay. First Form, it's a health supplement company. One of our coaches is Andy Frizella. When we were at his building, he had 3 women that were sitting there, and their jobs were to write handwritten cards
And
to
get
every
signed
and,
1,000
and they're just following him around, and
he's
he's
just signing them all
these
day.
cards, right? I was like, Ian and I were using our trainer's nutrition app to order like our supplements through this app. We don't know who they are. He says it's the best quality. So we were like, yeah, when we saw the Andy Frizella's
The level of care.
dedication, we were like, and his products are quite a bit more expensive. We switched our purchase process to them.
But but listen, we can't tell our trainer,
But we can't tell our trainers, so we still buy
So we
his
still have to
stuff,
buy his shit and throw it away.
and we throw it away.
And then we have to buy the other shit because now we're morally obligated.
We're morally obligated to freaking here. Listen, Ian and I sometimes when we meet good salespeople, we're morally obligated to buy their stuff to give them momentum to go sell more people because we're like, this person's good.
God, man, he's
We're
good.
obligated.
Hey, you guys ever? I bought a couch the other day, and I was in a store, and this guy was so horrible. I was a lay down deal. He had the worst energy. He smelled
He
like
just wanted to
vodka.
lay down on the couch
And
and
he
write,
just was
write his
sleeping.
signature.
And my fiance is like, hey, this is the couch we're buying. And I literally could not buy it. I had to go rent a U-Haul and drive an hour away to buy the same damn couch for the same damn price because I felt like, you guys ever do that in sales where you just like, I can't give this guy commission.
Can't do
It's a $10,000 couch.
Morally
I'm
obligated not to.
giving this dude the commission.
Somebody else needs it.
I'm not doing it, dude. Citizens are best. I'm not giving him that.
Listen. The reason why I told you about the First Form thing is because when we got our package in the mail, my wife came to me and said, "Look at this handwritten letter." I didn't tell her the story. She's like, "Should we hang the letter up?" Like,
Oh my God, I got to
she hung it up on the refrigerator, and I let her hang it. And it's like, it's nothing crazy special. It's 3 or 4 sentences, but she's like, "This is crazy. Should we like hang this letter up? Like, this is insane."
imagine that.
Okay, like, do you understand that conversation that we had? Now I'm telling a couple hundred of you guys about the same thing. Do you understand how if your most dependable source of revenue in your company isn't referrals, you are doing it wrong.
Doesn't matter what
You,
business.
you are doing it wrong. If your most dependable source of revenue, I don't care what business are you in, is not referrals, you are doing it wrong.
I don't even call people anymore.
And
I just people call me. They're like, "Hey, I connected with you." I'm like, "Through
Listen,
who?"
I want you to write this down. My ambition as a sales pro is for my client to believe that I have the most disciplined and crazy follow-up out of any salesperson they've ever seen. Your
Impressive.
ambition should be that your client thinks that you're the most relentless and you have the most impressive follow-up. They should say, "Oh my
Let
God,
me tell a story of it.
you are relentless.
Okay,
You are
let me tell a story. This is a quick one on follow-up because now we're getting a little crazy. All right.
Well,
so-
now we're getting fired.
All right. Anybody ever do DoorDash? Raise your hand if you ever do DoorDash.
Yeah.
You ever get some dude that just drops, like, looks like you just did not want your food with that person?
Yeah, all the time. You're like,
Should I eat
You're
it?
like,
You're like, oh no. And it was in that guy's car. Oh, but you're hungry.
What you gonna eat?
You know, you're like, okay. So I DoorDashed some food the other day. You know, my fiance's pregnant. So we DoorDash in the tune of hundreds of dollars all the time. Just
every minute.
for everything. Okay.
He's
All right.
huge.
Okay, listen, dude. Don't let her catch you on that. All right. So check this out. I've never experienced anything like this. Okay. This lady, she drops our food at the door. While she's at the restaurant, she's like, "Hey, do you want any special sauces and all stuff?" And Miranda's getting all excited. She's like, "Yeah, like I want this, I want that, you know." And she's like, "Oh, you're amazing for doing that." She's like, "Oh, no problem." And she does all these extra things while she's at the restaurant. Most people just leave, they don't ask questions. Super cool. I don't think anything of it. I'm like, "Oh, that lady's amazing. Yeah, give her a good tip." She drops the food off. Miranda gets her food and she goes to the food and there's a handwritten card and it literally says, "Your house is beautiful. Thank you so much for being a phenomenal person. I appreciated you putting a tip on that deal. It means everything to me and my family. We're new to the area. It's great to see that there's great people left out here." And I grabbed the card. I'm like, "Shut up. Yeah, let me see it."
Yeah.
And I read the card and you know me, I'm a lay down. So I'm like, "Call her back." I'm like, "Call her, tell her to come back." And she's like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I'm giving her a few $100. Like, I'm gonna give her, how much cash you got?" She's like, "I got 300. I'm like, "Give it to her." She comes in and I give her the money and she starts crying and she's like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I said, I know you appreciate the money, but tell me why you're doing this. Tell me why. I just want to know why." And she's like, "Because nobody cares anymore. And nobody gives good effort anymore." And she's from like Arkansas. She's got this like down south. She's like, "Nobody cares. And I just want people to know that I take my job seriously." And I'm like, "Shit, man. Miranda, go get a couple more hundred.
Higher.
Go get a couple more
Give her
hundred."
the ATM
You know?
card.
I'm like, "Shit, man, that was a $500 breakfast burrito, dude." You know what I'm saying? But could you do something like that for your clients where you impress them so much? You care so much that you're different in this world. What is the missing sauce in this world? Nobody gives a fuck. Okay. So if you really truly care and you really truly care about all of these little things, then you will figure out a way to not just make a sale, but make a client for life and make an impact in that person.
Here's what happens. Here's what happens when that happens. I'm not going to skip to confidence. That's number 5, but it gives you enough confidence in the sale that you're so damn good at your job that
They owe you.
that
Damn near.
they damn near owe you.
Yeah.
Like once you become this person that we're talking about, you become so magnetic that everybody you talk to, you believe that they got the money for you because you believe that your service is actually worth a shit. See, some of you guys aren't selling with the level of confidence we need you to sell with because you're truly not going above and beyond yet for your people because you're so caught up in the commission. Okay. You're caught up in the commission. Leave the commission aside. Can you wow 5 people today?
Amateurs are just focused on
Can
the
you-
money. Pros are focused on the match.
Listen, and by the way, Ian and I, we sell everywhere we go. Ask Jimmy Lee. Ask some of the people that go to church with us. Ask some of the people that actually hang out with us. Some of the people in Andy's brotherhood, his private inner circle. Ask some of the people who come down to events that like go spend time with us outside of the lines. And everybody we meet, we're trying to influence them to just have a little bit better of a day because
That's it.
we know that that's going to transfer into a call like this where we're like trying to make you have a better day. And if you're getting positive energy
You
from this,
skipped number 4.
why don't I know I'm going to go back to number 4. I didn't go to number 5 either.
Thanks,
If you're
Joseph.
getting positive energy from this, drop a freaking emoji if you're getting some value in the chat. Come
Yeah,
on, let's see.
hype
what we
that
got.
chat up.
Now, number 4. This is number 4. This is the most important.
Well, so hold on. Let's go back through real quick. 1 was audacity, 2 was repetition, 3 was discipline, 4 is intuition.
4 is intuition. I
Okay.
think that this is probably Ian and I's most powerful skill. I think that this is probably Andy's most powerful skill is your intuition, your ability to be able to ask good questions so you know where your prospect's mind's at, what they can afford, what their life looks like. You're painting a picture in your head.
They are.
And then you're using your intuition to land them on the right product for the right price that they can afford. You're not going for swinging for the fences all the time. You're actually doing your customers a service because you're using your intuition based off of the questions and the feeling that you got from these people.
Dude, my intuition is so good. I not only know who I am, but I know who some of you guys are before you even talk. I can tell. I can tell. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what that guy's going through. And then when I start to ask some questions, I can really get a vibe of like who you are. Some of you have a really good intuition. You need to lean into it more. Some of you don't because you're cloudy. You're not even really thinking about it. You're not even really thinking about painting a picture of this person. I'm always sizing somebody up in my head. Who are they? What do they do? Where do they live?
So
what are their experiences?
Funny story. Ian and I, so this became a thing at our dealership when we were selling.
Oh, I forgot about this. I know exactly. See, we have twin connection. I know exactly what he's going to say.
So this became a thing because Ian and I, like when I tell you to have intuition so that way you can land somebody and basically qualify them before you sell them something, I'm not saying like, oh, that customer has bad credit. Look at them. They're not listen, a lot of it comes down to the conversation and the eyes of the customer. The eyes are the window to the soul, right? Like you can tell a lot by somebody when you shake hands with them, you ask them 3 or 4 intelligent questions. So I would write that.
When was the last time you purchased a car?
I would write down 3.
What was the bank that you used the last time on your finance? Santander? Oh, hold on. Hey, what that might, and then I can start to tell.
What motivated you to reach out about our coaching program today? Like, what was the thing that motivated you? Okay, like you want to know some of these motives. You want to know some of these things. You want to know these people. But Ian and I, we used to, at the dealership, our salespeople would play a game. When a customer would pull up, Ian and I would stand up out of our desk and we would look at the client. We would look at their car. And when they would walk in, Ian and I could tell, like, based off of even their accent in Colorado, if they were from North Denver, West Denver, what area they grew up in, we could tell, like, hey, listen, she looks like she's an out-of-towner. I bet you she's coming with her dad. She looks like a nursing student. Look at the freaking bumper sticker on her car.
She's from the Midwest.
She's from the Midwest.
She's going to be a nurse.
Her dad's going to fly in. I guarantee you he's a lawyer. He's going to kink us on this. And then next thing you know, the salespeople will run up. How do you guys know it? I'm like, bro, because I practice sizing people up. I can't go to a restaurant. Every time I'm with my wife, we're like talking about other people at tables. I'm like, what do you think he's talking about to her? What do you think's going on with this? What do you think's going on with that? Like, we are always looking at people and we're sizing people.
I already knew Joe was a 520 credit score and she had to co-sign for him on his first CRV. I already knew Rachel had to co-sign for him on his CRV. And Mike had to go out there and close.
He made a couple of decisions when he was young.
And that's what we had to do. Right?
He probably had like the freaking fast.
He had a couple girlfriends that he co-signed some shit on with his wallet was flowing. And then Rachel came in and she got him organized. She helped him find God. And then she slowed him down and she had to co-sign. And now he's a 745 and he's good to go.
Okay. So, are you practicing sizing people up when you meet them? Like, it's okay to
and we're probably totally off on that one, but like how it just was purely out of shit.
But one of the biggest things that's always helped us was following that intuition. A lot of you guys, like, I'm going to talk to the dudes for a second here. Your wives have badass intuition about the people you shouldn't be hanging around with.
Yep.
And you keep ignoring her.
What do you mean?
Oh, and
he's a great
guy.
I
grew up with him. Like, he's one of my best.
Slept with like 6 different chicks this week.
Dude,
and he's doing all kinds of
get away from him.
You're like, he's a great, I mean, that's not who he is. No, bro, it's exactly who he is.
You need to start leaning into your intuition. And those of you that got some women around you, maybe you should lean into some of their intuition because 9 times out of 10, they can kind of peg it before it happens.
Yeah.
So why don't we start?
And women, stop being know-it-alls. We know y'all know it, okay?
Yeah.
You don't have to
remind us all the time. We know it. Just you got to make it our idea.
Yeah, make it our idea.
Those of you that are women, you guys got to get better at selling your men that and making it their idea. You know what I'm saying? You got to be like, hey, honey, remember the last time you were hanging around a guy like this? What ended up happening with that?
What was the?
Like,
How did you feel when that happened?
How'd you feel when they burned you the last time?
How did you feel? Do
Yeah.
you feel like this
Feel
is
good?
where you need to be?
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How'd you feel the last time when you started leaving, getting away from the gym and your health? Were you feeling good when you came home and
Were
you got
you?
naked?
No. No. Oh,
Okay.
what did that
So,
feel like?
Do you think that maybe we should go back to the gym together? Is that something you
I'd
want
love
to do?
to go with
Oh,
you. And I
yeah.
got a present.
Oh, now
for
we
you
get into
after.
this idea. Not, hey, you fat loser.
Yeah.
Remember when you freaking
Jesus
got fucking
Christ,
that's
you
your
should.
fucking that's
Remember when you were an athlete in
yeah,
high school?
now you're
and
just
shit?
nothing. You're a loser.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
No,
God
man.
damn it.
Gosh, man.
Wow, dude, this should be a freaking fire podcast.
This is a podcast.
Number 5, confidence, man. Holy smokes.
If you're pursuing this person, you're naturally confident. You don't even have to be good at sales. You will just naturally rise to the top because you're on here right now. Your brain is creative. You're going to get off this call. You're going to have the audacity to make the calls. And listen, if you're newer to whatever industry you are, because we get a lot of newer people.
Yep.
If you just start with the audacity and work your way down, you somehow become good at something. Now, there's a thing called be plus do equals have. You become something, you do something, you have something.
Slow that down.
Become something, be plus do equals have. You don't really get to have something without becoming something or doing something, one of the two. But then the other day I was thinking, well, if you do something and you haven't become it yet, like I just started out in car sales, I don't even know what to do, but I just go do it. And I'm just going and doing, and I'm training and I'm doing. Well, I can actually reverse engineer that, and I can become something by doing something. A lot of people don't do enough, so they don't become enough. So be and do, they kind of can swap places in something, but you can't have anything great or anything big without those two factors both.
And here's the secret to confidence. And I know this is kind of overused in the personal development community, but it's just the truth. Like you gotta start right. You gotta start to keep the promises to yourself. You truly do. Like if you say you're like Jimmy Lee right now, he's more on fire than he's ever been. His wife, his wife calls me like
We got to settle Jimmy
the other
down,
day.
dude.
Like I gotta peel him off the walls.
Yeah.
He was when we met him at SolarCon, and I know we talk a lot about fitness, and some of you guys don't like that, and some of you guys will leave because you don't like us talking about fitness. But you have to understand, when we met Jimmy Lee at SolarCon, one of the biggest holes
He was shaped like an egg.
He was shaped like an egg a little bit.
I'm just
Oh,
kidding, Jimmy.
He's got an
I'm
egg
just
head.
kidding,
He's got an
Jimmy.
egg head.
I'm
That's
just
for
kidding.
sure.
It's just because you're so jacked
Oh.
now. I walked over and
Well,
grabbed
he
his
was-
forearm the
guys,
other day. I was
listen,
like, what the hell is that?
Listen,
dude?
he was
Holy.
killing it in solar. I mean, the guy's making all the money,
Yeah.
but he was 45 pounds overweight and he didn't like who he was. Jimmy went crazy after meeting us. He's down to like 185
He
pounds.
bought an RV and he lives outside.
He literally lives.
I'm not kidding.
No, like he did.
He really does. He was traveling. He didn't just sell his house and shit because he's always been traveling around doing solar. But he's like, hey, I'm just gonna move down there. I'm gonna spend months down there, and I'm gonna do solar in the area. I'm gonna do my thing from. He has his mobile camp. He has 2 RV.
He comes
mobile
to every
camps.
event.
But he's like, shit, man, I'm gonna set up. I look downstairs one time. I'm like, Jimmy's in the back setting up right there. He lives here.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to tell you a story about Jimmy though. He's more on fire in every area of his life.
Every
because
area.
He called his shot. So you got to say this. You got to call your shot. Who do you want to be? What does that 3-year version of you look like? Jimmy said, hey, listen, I'm sick to death. I fell asleep a little bit. I'm not who I want to be. By Jimmy falling asleep, Deborah fell asleep a little bit because Deborah was following her leader. Jimmy is her leader. She was falling asleep. Her fitness wasn't the way that she wanted it to be. And once Jimmy got his stuff together, they're both on fire. Their relationship is better than it's ever
Totally.
have been.
And you
And they're
can feel it when you're around it.
And look at and success and the sales is just a byproduct of who they're becoming.
Yeah.
Because they be, they do, and the equals have. So you got to understand, whatever that shot is for you, Mike Audio, he's been calling his shot. He's been going through the storm. He's like a buffalo right now. He's just running into the storm, right?
You guys know what a buffalo does when they see a storm? You know what they do?
They run into them.
They don't run away from it. They run straight through that sucker, dude.
Straight through it. They're like the craziest animals. They run through the storm. A lot of you guys are running through the storm right now. And as you're running through the storm, call your shot. What are you going to be? What are you
And
gonna
also
do?
listen.
How are you going to do it? And then you'll gain that confidence.
And listen, do you have the ability? Let me tell you why we train. We train because of stressful situations. So like Mike is going through a stressful situation. But Mike's ability to stay in this training and grow through these harder times, when times are less hard, Mike's going to be like Mike's going to run a big store one day. He's going to be doing all this shit. And they're going to be like, oh my God, there's all these problems. Mike's going to be like,
Problems? Yeah, is that what you, like? Are you serious?
Problems? Or you see, I think that God puts us through the exact things that we're going through for what we're asking for.
Yeah.
If you really want a big life, you're going to be going through these things, and He's going through it, which is really good. And when you call me and you're telling me go through it, I have this weird thing where I'm like I think it's the best thing that you've ever said. I'm like, hell yeah, and you're like, that's not what I expected. I'm like, I know. You're going through a stress test to see if you can put up with this shit for the long run, But everybody, you have to be able to give up the temporary so that you can get what you really want.
Ian calls it sucking the sour to get to the
Suck
sweet.
the sour to get to the sweet. If you're a person right now on this call and you're going to get off this call and do something you shouldn't do because it's just like you're hanging out with a buddy, you're going to go drink tonight, you're going to go do something that you shouldn't do, you're going to have a confidence battle. And if you can correct one of those things and not make that decision, and it can be whatever, what's holding you back. Nobody needs to coach you through this feeling because you live with that feeling. But if you can get rid of that and hold yourself accountable and change that, the future, get rid of the temporary feeling now for the future, you're going to be so much further ahead.
Yep. So confidence is everything. So
that's what Jimmy did, and that's what he
and, and there's levels to confidence. So some of you guys are like, Evan, I don't struggle with confidence. Okay, again, if I put you up in a room full of 300-400 people, are you going to break, or do you know your job better than everybody else? Can you influence and persuade rooms of 1,000 people? If you're selling a product, can you get up on stage and influence 1,000?
And by the way, everybody has some type of your confidence might be here because you're only playing at a certain level, but once you go to play at a massive, bigger freaking level, you will have a confidence issue because you will not be prepared just yet for that level, or you'll be very close.
So prepare yourself. Ian nailed it. We've got a guy on our team named Tony Gray. Tony's been training with us for 2 years. Tony lost 100 pounds on our fitness program. He's doing very well. Tony would be on all these calls and he'd be practicing his objections, and he became the top sales guy at 2 different stores. Really good dude. Tony lost his mother. He lost it, and he was at a funeral, and they asked him to speak, and Tony told me, he said, listen, man, that day where I lost one of my parents was the hardest day of my life. To get up there and speak in front of people would have been the biggest fear I ever had. But you guys put me through so much pressure on these calls to handle objections and at seminars and stuff that I felt a different level of confidence. Do you know what kind of confidence that his family took from him getting up and delivering a speech in front of people, because he felt like he was a new guy? And the reason why he got it was because he called a shot. He lost his weight. He started figuring out who the person he wanted to become. And once he became that person, he transferred an energy on the hardest day of his freaking life. It literally gives me goosebumps.
That's what
we train for. I know somebody's gonna die. I know problems are gonna come up.
Confidence when everything's going wrong, man. That's another level of confidence, and you don't really know if you have that confidence until it happens. And then you're thankful.
We just finished.
Jinx, bro.
Jinx.
All right, number 6 and final, character, man. Character.
God.
Character, and I'll tell you, man, character will open doors that you can never freaking open. You can never open.
It'll
Because
close some too.
Yeah, it will close some. Your reputation will meet you where you're going before you even have a chance.
Before you even walk in the room.
Before you even walk in the room, there'll be people talking about you, saying that you can't do that. They don't want you. Like, your character is everything. Amateurs don't understand that. Pros are practicing that because they understand.
True
You
that.
know what I mean? If you say you're going to do something and you follow through on your promise, then the world's going to know about it. If you continuously follow through on your promises, then the world will know about it, and you can tell who that person is.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest. My biggest character, just I don't know. I'm gonna go dig in my character bank account right now, and I'm gonna be freaking vulnerable with you guys. When I got my wife, I told her I was gonna rock her damn world, baby, and I followed through on it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you did or not.
Oh, I did. That's why she's still with me.
Well,
some of you guys are like, I'm gonna rock your world, baby girl. You're gonna be
and
the
then she goes and tells everybody
you're
that it was
damn
good.
done.
And then she goes and tells everybody, Eddie, she's like, that was the worst deal ever. So then your character amongst the dating community is not all the time there. If you're gonna do something, you better go all in, bud. You hear me?
How many of you guys call your shot on a big number, and your character with your manager is that you don't follow through on what you're gonna say?
Yeah, you're like, hey, I'm gonna hit 20 cars, and you hit 6, and they're like, bro, we don't trust you. We don't trust you.
And good salespeople understand it comes down when you really understand character, and it's going to be making the hard decisions that are right. And then when you call your shot and you call the things that you're gonna do, you do it. it's really important that you live up to that certain character. Now, on a more serious note, when I did meet my fiance, it was the craziest scenario ever. But the day that I met her, I want you to understand something. Her mom had terminal cancer. She was out at a bar. We got invited there by some friends. We heard that there was a lot of stuff going on in their life and they needed some like good positive energy.
True.
I didn't know them. I didn't know her. I knew one of her friends. I showed up to the bar. I ended up driving them home because they had a couple of drinks. She invited me in the house where her whole family was at. When I met her mom, this is crazy stuff. Normally, I wouldn't even have been in there, but I had the confidence of like, man, I want to go in there and like make everybody positive, right? Her mom's sitting on the couch. I gave her mom a hug and I told her mom, this is like the first time I met her. Guys, this was a little weird.
Yeah, totally.
And I told her,
But
I
that's
said,
how God
"Listen,
works."
I'm going to take care of your daughter." I was like, and as I'm telling her this, I'm like, why am I telling this lady this? Like, she's like, that's like, she's getting ready to pass away.
She's
And I
2 days away.
But something in my intuition told me that I was doing the right thing. And I leaned into it. And I just said what was on my heart. Right. And then
Audacity,
not
character,
a couple months
intuition,
later,
all of these things we just said.
not a couple months later, we were engaged and then we've got a son. We've got a beautiful life together. And I will keep that promise. And I will always remember that to the day that I die. Are you guys keeping those promises to yourself? If you look at how these things line up, your confidence, your character, these things build the best people. Like, let's not even just talk about entrepreneurs or salespeople. If you can start to keep these damn promises to yourself
And keep them on the
you
forefront.
look and act different. And then people are like, why are you like this? And then all of a sudden, boom, you got them. They will buy anything from you because you're the person.
Yep.
You're him.
So true. You are him. We started out with I am him, I am her. Go be that person today. Go be somebody that becomes great. Pursue it every day. Put some of these processes in place. Evan, what do you got? You got something else?
Hey, to start the year off, January 1st, there's some people that are already on it. I know Joseph and Rachel, a couple of you guys that have been to some seminars that we let in this private club. We've got the 100-day extreme challenge going on. We haven't really released it to the internet. We've only talked about it on a couple of these calls and some people that have been down to our seminars.
Mike's on it.
January 1st, to start the year off, if you're looking for a big identity shift and you want to commit to something for 100 days, we have a challenge going on with a calendar. You get a special dog tag. You commit to 100 days. Andy believes, and I believe it too. Ian believes that if you stick to something from 100 days, it changes your world. If you want to join this
And
challenge,
there's 7 calls with Andy.
there's
7
Zoom calls to start the
So
year.
7 private calls with him too, which is crazy.
If you want to join the extreme challenge and you're willing to commit, if you text our number, we'll set up a call with you. I'll also send you my morning routine that you can do in here. It's a really badass routine. This challenge is $997 and it comes with a seminar too for next year, which those are $997. So you get the 7 Zoom calls with Andy and you get the accountability of being in this group, getting this special dog tag, and then coming down and meeting everybody who's taken part in this challenge to kick the year off. It will shift your identity. It will teach you about a whole different level of discipline and confidence that we just talked about. So if you want to be in it, it's $997. Text this number. I'll also set you up with my schedule. I'll set you up with my morning routine. Everybody asks us how we stay on fire. It comes down to your routine. It comes down to your discipline. I'll send that over to you on like a little message. And then you're good to go. You have something badass to look forward to start the year off. You don't need to start it today. You can start it January 1st. We're only going to take a certain amount of people. We'll take 6 people from this call.
Yep.
So the first 6 people that text, got you.
And so listen, guys, I want you to think about this. As this new year goes down, the choices that you make today are going to be the life that you have tomorrow.
Damn
So
right.
Your choice to get on a challenge, your choice to read a book today, your choice to go to the next level, you're going to have, and this is the hardest thing for people to understand, but you're going to have a life 6 months from now just based off the choice that you make today. But since there's no direct consequence to taking one of these things and putting it in place, you might not do it. You could leave this call, not do anything about it, and then you're just going to end up on this perpetual freaking cycle that just never stops.
Don't do it.
So stop it today. Commit to the challenge, commit to yourself, use something today to elevate your business forward. And if you do that, I want you to do this. I want you to tomorrow wake up, put that win in your win bank account and say, dude, I won yesterday. I know that 90 people on that call did not do that because I guarantee it's just not possible. Most people won't do it. I guarantee most people on that didn't do one of those things, and I did 2 of them. I'm freaking proud of myself. I'm going to earn this new level of confidence. I'm going to earn this new level of life in 2024. let's not be like the losers that start 2024 in 2024. A lot of us have been starting 2024 like Mike and like a lot of you guys like Jimmy for the last 2 months, last three months. And that's why when shit gets a little crazier or shit happens, we're going to be prepared. And when Donald Trump gets back in presidency, shit will start to work out a lot better for all of us. Okay. So vote Donald Trump. And if you guys want to Google me for that and say mean shit about my political beliefs, then
Guys,
I'm gonna fire you anyways from the program.
and those of you that are Democrats,
I'm just
still
kidding,
want this
guys.
to-
Just relax, have some fun. But for real, that's a real deal.
Listen,
I'm
I
trying
don't
to take-
believe I don't believe in any of them personally.
Hey, by the way, Andy Frisella, we're gonna get him.
I vote for Andy Frisella in
Okay.
2028. That's when I'm going to revisit that. Until then, it's all about personal excellence for myself.
Exactly.
I'm going to become the change that I want to see around the country. I'm going to change people. I'm going to change myself. I'm going to become the fucking example. And that ultimately will be the biggest change that you ever get. It won't be a politician.
Amen to that.
Let's go.
Amen to that.
Andy
Let's go.
Elliott for president.
Let's go. There you go.
Let's go, man.
Boom.
Love you guys. Come on.